After studying similar holiday retreats across Europe, particularly along the French Riviera and Italian coasts, James had embraced the best of the ideas he had seen and incorporated them here to ensure that all needs were catered for. Today, the guests had dispersed to a number of locations. Some had driven to nearby Brighton for a day at the races. Others had journeyed a few miles along the coast to Rottingdean to go horse riding, while a few had taken advantage of the crisp autumnal weather to hike along the South Downs. He wandered over to the huge picture windows and gazed at the pale blue sky. The trees in the distance were making their transition from summer green to the rusts and gold of autumn. Their 2 donkeys, Delphine and Sebastian, munched on apples in the far field and kept the grass at bay. Beyond him, through the open doors to the reception area, his wife Beth and the Reverend's wife Anne Merriweather were preparing a dazzling display of seasonal flowers. Mrs. Jepson, their cleaner, both here and at home, was polishing the wooden floor as if her life depended on it. It glistened where the light caught it, and he marvelled at how she managed to remove the scuff marks and scrapes that occasionally appeared. His chef, Didier, obscured his view. His short, rotund form filled the doorframe as he clasped his hands together. "Lord Harrington," he said in a strong French accent, "my apologies for keeping you waiting." James waved the apology aside. He had no desire to criticise his chef unless it was absolutely necessary, and that scenario had, fortunately, never reared its head. The man had a chef's temperament and would have no qualms about simply throwing his apron down and resigning if he felt it warranted such action. He steered his chef towards the nearest table. "I'm sure what you're about to show me will be worth the wait." Didier, impeccably dressed in crisp chef's whites, joined him at the table and spread out 2 sheets of paper. "This week we have the wonderful menu, and I, Didier Lenoir, will be foraging the forests." "I say, that sounds rather marvellous. What are you foraging for?" He received an indignant glare. "Mushrooms, Lord Harrington." Didier waved a sheet of paper as he listed them. "Chanterelle, cep, trompette de l'amour, whatever I can find. And I will serve the creamy mushroom soup with your grandmother's bread, oui?" "Ah, yes, oui, said James. "That sounds rather delicious." Grandma Harrington's fresh white bread toasted with cheese would be a perfect accompaniment to Didier's dish. Didier's chest swelled. "Such a shame your grandmother is not here, Lord Harrington. We would, in the kitchen, be a most formidable team." James agreed as he perused the rest of the menu. "You're also doing a French onion soup with the same accompaniment. Splendid." "Mais oui, and the smoked mackerel pâté for those who poo-poo the soup." James salivated as he read through the choice of main courses. Guinea fowl with porcini mushrooms and bacon, bœuf bourguignon, traditional English steak and kidney pudding. Anticipation rushed through him. "I say, are you doing my grandmother's steak and kidney?" Didier's eyes sparkled. "Mais oui! I see from the photograph in the reception that your grandmother was born in late September. So this is in celebration of her passion for excellent food." "Then I must book a table. I also see you have a pear tart with chocolate sauce. That'll keep my wife happy." His wife's voice floated in from the entrance. "What'll keep me happy?" Although she had lived in England since leaving finishing school, she maintained a slight inflection from her upbringing in Boston. James called her over to go through the planned menu and suggested they reserve their places. "Our esteemed chef is also doing an autumn fruit crumble with custard, which sounds rather appetizing." "It all sounds perfect," she replied. "I'm sure our guests will love it, As will I.